Welcome back to MTG Therapy. In today's video, we'll be unboxing the new Secret Lair Commander deck, Everyone's Invited. This deck came out in the Ultimate Pencil Super Drop, so just like the raised foil set from my previous video, it came with a dumb pencil. But is this deck really worth $200? Let's crack it open and find out. We'll have a card-sized thank you card in this one. We'll have the deck box. The box has kind of like a coating to it. I don't even know how to describe it, like a waxy feel almost. But it is still the typical cardboard box from Wizards. I would think for $200 you should expect something a little bit nicer, but maybe that's just me. Starting out with our life counter. Got everyone's favorite side, of course. Then we'll have the poster. It'll list all the different cards that got special treatment in this deck. And then finally, we'll have the deck. Don't make fun of me, but I made this. Starting off with the Commander, Morophon the Boundless, which I personally already have a Morophon Commander deck, but this one's actually completely different than mine. Mine's actually not a shapeshifter deck. But what's cool about Morophon is since he is a shapeshifter, he's a changeling, which if you don't know what changeling is, basically it just means it has every creature type. So let's say if something applies to a fairy creature type, that would still apply to all changelings. Whenever he's entering the battlefield, you pick a creature type, and then spells of that type cost one less of each color mana to cast. It only applies to the colored mana and not the generic, but that's still such a huge discount for most cards. And on top of that, other creatures you control of that chosen type get +1/+1 as well. So not only is he a good commander, but he also goes pretty well in most tribal decks. After that, we'll have another Morophon. The first one's going to be the really thick cardboard version. So then this will be the actual Morophon card. So then after Morophon, we'll have Raise the Palisade. If you haven't seen this card before, what it does is it allows you to pick a creature type, and then it returns all creatures that aren't that chosen type to their owner's hands. It's kind of similar to Cyclonic Rift, except it's only creatures, and if you have more than one creature type on the board, it'll end up returning some of them to your hand, unless they're changelings. It's a pretty powerful card for a lot of tribal decks that run blue. And after Raise the Palisade, we'll have Bitter Blossom. I'm a huge fan of the artwork on this one. Really cool in my opinion. But what Bitter Blossom does is at the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life and you create a 1/1 Black Fairy Rogue creature token with flying. So basically every turn, you'll trade 1 life for a 1/1 token. It doesn't seem like a super good trade-off, but if you pair it with anything that duplicates your tokens or buffs your tokens, it can get out of hand very fast. After Bitter Blossom, we'll have Taurine Mauler, who, just like Morophon, is a shapeshifter with changeling. But what Taurine Mauler does is whenever an opponent casts a spell, you get to put a 1/1 counter on him. Next, we'll have the Avenger of Zendikar. This one, just like the other cards so far, has the specialty art and the double rainbow foil. But whenever the Avenger of Zendikar enters, you create a 0/1 plant creature token for each land you control. It also has landfall, so whenever a land you control enters, you may put a +1/+1 counter on each plant creature you control. So far the focus has been on tokens and counters. Next up, we have Kindred Summons. If you don't know what Kindred Summons is, it's another card where you choose a creature type, then you reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal X creature cards of the chosen type, where X is the number of creatures you control of that type. You then put those cards onto the battlefield and shuffle the rest of the revealed cards into your library. So it's a really quick way to double the creatures that you have out. And on top of that, it applies to creature tokens. So let's say you have 5/0/1 plant tokens out. You technically get to pull 5 plants out of your deck. It costs 7 mana, but if you have 7 mana to spare for that, it's a pretty good way to speed up the game. Next up, we have Tendershoot Dryad. The artwork from this one was used as the promotion art for this deck. I personally really like it. I think it's a really sweet looking card. I'll make sure to get some close-up shots so that you can see the double rainbow foil from these. I honestly don't see a huge difference from the regular rainbow foil, or maybe I just haven't looked at them in the right lighting yet. But let me know if you guys can tell a difference. But Tendershoot Dryad will have Ascend, which means if you have 10 permanents on the battlefield, you get the City's Blessing for the rest of the game. And for the abilities, at the beginning of each upkeep, you create a 1/1 green Saproling creature token, and Saprolings you control get +2/+2 as long as you have the City's Blessing. So early on, it might only create 1/1 tokens, but once you hit those 10 permanents, those Saprolings' power and toughness triple. After that, we'll have Coat of Arms. The artwork on this card kind of reminds me of Adventure Time. But for those who don't know what Coat of Arms does, it's an artifact that gives each creature +1/+1 for each other creature on the battlefield that shares at least one creature type with it. This is a really strong card in almost all tribal decks. I think personally, I have like 4 or 5 Coat of Arms spread across my decks. After that, we have Maskwood Nexus. I personally think the artwork on this card best represents the Everyone's Invited name. It's bright and colorful, and there's so many different little characters on it. The more you look at it, the more you'll find. So what Maskwood Nexus is, it's an artifact that turns all your creatures into every creature type. So it's essentially turning them all into changelings. This applies to all the creatures that you own, whether they're on the battlefield or not. It also has a mana ability that costs 3 generic, but you get to create a 2/2 shapeshifter creature token with Changeling. After that, we'll have another variation of the Soul Ring. I believe this is the last card that got the specialty treatment in this deck. In the last few years, there have been a handful of specialty Soul Rings that have been released. I wouldn't say this is my favorite one, but I personally really like the artwork on this one. And as everyone knows, a Soul Ring is absolutely necessary in a commander deck. After that, we'll move on to the reprints, starting with Harper Recruiter, Mirror Entity, Stick Together, Tazri, Beacon of Unity, Arcane Adaptation, Double Down, Kindred Discovery, Black Market Connections. Of course, there's a Kindred Dominance, Magda Brazen Outlaw, Chameleon Colossus. That's a funny looking creature. Feline Sovereign, Realm Walker, Atla Palani Nest Tender, the Bears of Litjara, Bernard Ginger Sculptor, Bruce Taro Roving Rancher, Cloud Shredder Sliver, Kiri Talented Sprout, Rin and Suri Inseparable, Ruka Rumel Biologist, Sophia Dog Detective, Unsettled Mariner, Realm Breaker the Invasion Tree. Move on to our rare lands with Otterker Wastes, Brushland, Darkwater Catacombs, Exotic Orchard, Fabled Passage, Karplusan Forest, Llanowar Wastes, Mossfire Valley, Murmuring Bosk, Mutavault, Overflowing Basin, Secluded Glen, Sungrass Prairie, Good Old World Tree to turn all your lands into command towers, Yavimaya Coast. Then we'll move on to the other spells, starting with Crib Swap, Imposter of the Sixth Pride, Kinsbale Cavalier, Shield of Velisvel, Amoeboid Changeling, Arcane Denial, Distant Melody, Moth Dust Changeling, Hongify, Shapesharer, Graveshifter, Nameless Inversion, Skeletal Changeling, Firebelly Changeling, Beast Within, Cultivate, of course, Farseek, Gemhide Sliver, Guardian Gladewalker, Harabaz Druid, Kodama's Reach, Mana Weft Sliver, Masked Vandal, Marit of the Frost, Risen Reef, Spoils of Adventure. We'll move on to the artifacts with Arcane Signet, Bloodline Pretender, Universal Automaton, Ancient Amphitheater, Arcane Sanctum, Command Tower, Frontier Bovak, Guildleaf Palace, Jungle Shrine, Opulent Palace, Path of Ancestry, Seaside Citadel, Wanderwine Hub. We'll move on to the basic lands and tokens. Get rid of that. Starting with our plains. Move on to islands, swamp, mountain, and forest. And we'll have the double-sided tokens with Tiny, City's Blessing, Shapeshifter, and a cat. Another Shapeshifter, and the dog. Food, plant token, treasure, and an egg. Got the clue, and a copy token. Fairy Rogue, with an ox. Ooh, is it an ox on the other side of this one? Oh, it's an ape. And we'll have a sapperling with another ape. Another sapperling with a sliver. Then we'll have the 4 double rainbow shapeshifter tokens. Each of these are only single-sided. And lastly, for our bonus card, we have Changeling Outcast. So that will be the Everyone's Invited Commander deck from Secret Lair. When they first announced they were doing another Commander deck, I was fairly excited. That excitement kind of faded when they announced the pricing. Unlike the last Commander deck that was $149.99, this deck came in a third of the price more at $199.99. Normally a rainbow foil set from Secret Lair is only $39, and those normally come with 5 cards. This deck came with 10 cards and special finishes. That's about $80 in Secret Lair sets. So that means you're spending about $120 on 90 regular cards. Granted, you do get 4 tokens and a bonus card, but every Secret Lair set comes with a bonus card. To be honest, I don't think I could recommend this deck at $200. If it was $150, like the 20 Ways to Win deck was, I would say it's definitely worth it, but $200 for 90% reprints is kind of a steep price if you ask me. For that price, you get 5 different rainbow foil sets from Secret Lair. The only people I could say this is really worth it for are people who really want most of this artwork, who really want most of the cards in this deck, and on top of that, are willing to dish out the fairly high price tag. This deck hasn't even hit low stock yet, so I anticipate that the prices will come down. So if there's only 1 or 2 cards that you really want from it, you'll probably be better off just buying singles. But that's just what I think. Is this something that you would buy? Does it look like a fun deck? I mean, $200 is a lot for a deck, but then there's some people where $200 is considered a cheap deck. But let me know what you think. If you made it through this video, I really appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.